What is up, everybody, and welcome to Studio de Jeffrey, where today I have a mock draft roundup for you, as well as the answers to a bunch of your questions, which I take at JC1053 on Twitter, including things about Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Tank Lawrence, the draft, the defensive line, the offensive line. All sorts of great mailbag questions are coming up in just a minute. But first, I have a mock draft roundup for you. And after the mock draft roundup, I will give you a mock draft that I just started. It's at pick 24, waiting for me to make a selection. Lance Zierlein, NFL.com. He did a mock draft, highly respected analyst, but he screwed it up. He picked Bernhard Raimann for the Cowboys. He's a Central Michigan offensive tackle. 2 years ago, he was a tight end. He's an incredible athlete for the offensive tackle position, which if you're looking for a long-term replacement for Tyron Smith, that actually makes a lot of sense. I'm not looking for a long-term replacement for Tyron Smith before I look for a left guard or a center or an edge rusher or a linebacker or a whatever, unless he's the best player available. And in this scenario, our guy Lance left like Nakobe Dean, the Georgia linebacker, on the board. He left Tyler Linderbaum on the board, the Iowa center. Just a lot of players that I ain't taking, or I'm not leaving on the board for Bernhard Raimann. So Lance, he failed the test. But again, he's a sweet man. He does the work. I love him. He just made a bad pick for the Cowboys. It happens. Send him all your hate mail. Next, Pro Football Focus. At number 24, the Cowboys got David Ojabo, the pass rusher out of Michigan. Brief scouting report on him. He plays opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, and he is what you would call toolsy. He's a toolsy pass rusher, not a finished product. Been playing football for 5 years. Really good athlete. When you talk about twitch, explosiveness, ability to bend and turn the corner, he has that. In a lot of games on rundowns, he's not even on the field. So in the NFL as a rookie, what is David Ojabo? He's a pass rusher. He will not play all the snaps. He would be in there to rush the passer and develop into a full-time player. At least that's my opinion. And they left Kenyon Green on the board. I don't have it in front of me. But just know that in those mock drafts, I would take for the Cowboys Nakobe Dean, Tyler Linderbaum, Kenyon Green. Those are the names that are my dream scenarios at number 24. One's a center, Tyler Linderbaum. Kenyon Green is a guard from Texas A&M, although he's played every offensive line position but center. And Nakobe Dean is the linebacker at Georgia that is a supercharged version of Nick Bolton from last year. Super instinctive, shot out of a cannon when he's going wherever he's going. He's a monster. And CBS Sports' Chris Trapasso gave the Cowboys Nakobe Dean, Georgia linebacker at number 24. So we call him a good person and a winner. Now, to finish out the mock draft situation here, you can't see it, but I ran the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator, and I'm sitting at number 24. And I'll tell you the guys I'm interested in for the Cowboys that are gone already. Tyler Linderbaum went at number 12. Nakobe Dean went at number 8. George Karlaftis, the Purdue defensive end, went number 10. This is going to be a really strange draft because you have no idea where a lot of these guys are going to go. It's what do you need and what's your flavor. It's not very top-heavy, according to me. Guys who remain on the board with the Cowboys on the clock include Washington corner Trent McDuffie, who I'll watch tonight. Jamison Williams, wide receiver, Alabama, is on the board. Kenyon Green, Texas A&M guard, is on the board. Roger McCreary, corner, Auburn, is on the board. And I will be on, Jermaine Johnson, Florida State defensive end. Zion Johnson, guard out of Boston College. Trayvon Walker, defensive end at Georgia. So those are the names that are relevant, at least to me. And according to the Jeff Cavanaugh mock draft 1.0, the Cowboys picked Kenyon Green, offensive guard, Texas A&M. I helped out your offensive line. So there's your mock draft roundup. Oh, and there's my phone alarm going off. Boop. I got to remember to put the equipment in the car for Ted. The great Ted Nichols-Payne, engineer, 105.3 The Fan, the finest engineer in all the land. I've still got his equipment. I keep forgetting it. And maybe I'll forget it by the time I'm done with this video. So your mock draft roundup, Nakobe Dean, 1. Bernard Raymond, 1. David Ojabo, 1. Kenyon Green, 1. Questions from the people. From CP Local Celeb, if they let Amari go, surely they'd retain Gallup, right? Or do they let them both go and look in the draft? Seems like the latter won't get Jerry a ring. If Amari is gone, I would think they would bring back at least somebody, because if Amari is not on this team, then this team's wide receiver room currently would be CeeDee Lamb and Simi Fehoko. That ain't enough. So, yeah, whether it's Cedric Wilson or Gallup or both or one of them and Malik Turner on a cheap deal and drafting, you have a lot of work to do. If you let Amari Cooper go, which there's a lot of momentum seeming to think that he is going to be a salary cap casualty, whether by trade or by release, you got work to do at the wide receiver room, and it's going to be hard to be better than you were on paper. XWB0218, is there a coaching issue or talent issue for the interior D-line? Would that particular upgrade fix the defense as a whole, or does the back end still need more? Your defensive line, I think, played up to the level of who they are. Osa Odigizua, it has ability. He's a rookie. He's a rookie who I had as a 4th-round grade. They picked him in the 3rd. Chauncey Golston, same thing, 4th-round grade, picked him in the 3rd. Those are guys that I think are going to be rotational NFL players that are useful. But the difference makers are the guys who line up on the interior and give you really good pass rush. Now, Osa's got a chance at that. I believe he was 2nd amongst rookies in pressures on the interior. So he's got a chance at that. But he wasn't a consistent force inside. If the Cowboys have the opportunity to get another guy who can line up on the defensive line on the inside and pressure quarterbacks, you can't be scared to pick another one. You can't let Osa, Neville Gallimore, Tristan Hill, you can't let that stop you. If you think that you've got a good player lined up, you pick him and you work it out in camp. And if there is the right huge defensive tackle to help this team, can't be afraid of that either. Travis Jones at Connecticut, maybe in the 2nd round. It's a 327, I believe, pounder. Nice run player. Nice power player. Might actually have some pass rush ability too. Jordan Davis, obviously, at Georgia, 360-pounder. There's some big boys that can help you out. Dr. Unawarewolf. Hey, Jeff. LVE going to be here next year, or do we have a replacement for his production in the draft? What the linebacker room look like? Thank you. The linebacker room at the moment, Keanu Neal's a free agent. Leighton Vander Esch is a free agent. So right now it's Micah Parsons, Jabril Cox, and brain fart, Francis Bernard. So yes, they need linebacker help. Whether that means Vander Esch is coming back on the cheap, whether that means Keanu Neal is coming back on the cheap, or whether that means in the first 2 or 3 rounds, that's going to be one of your picks. I need a linebacker. And ideally, I need a starting caliber linebacker, because I don't want Micah Parsons playing linebacker all the time. I want him lining up and rushing the passer on a lot of downs. So I need a linebacker. It's a big need. My guess is Vander Esch won't be back, but it depends on his market. If he's on the cheap, sure. 2 Shanes, if Lawrence is cut, what free agent could you see us going after? With cap savings, would you give up a 2 for Quinnen Williams? The Quinnen Williams thing has been a thing, talking about the Cowboys forever. I would imagine they're not swimming in that pool, because Quinnen Williams would make a bunch of money. You'd be giving up a draft pick and you need to pay a bunch of money. And the Cowboys are a team that already has too many highly compensated players. So I just don't think that's realistic. If Tank Lawrence is not on the team, you are looking at the draft and you are looking at cheap free agents. That's what they're going to do. So once again, if Coop is gone, if Coop and Tank are gone, your team is going to have to get back to blocking their ass off, quarterback playing really well, getting your weapons the ball. Could you be a better football team next year, despite what they're having to deal with right now with the salary cap? You could, but on paper, player for player, probably not. Day 2 wide receiver you want the most from Tanner? Maybe Jalen Tolbert, South Alabama. He's a good route runner. Manages to win deep. Knows how to set up corners, change speeds and routes. Jalen Tolbert, good player. Will the Cowboys draft a safety? Maybe. I'll give you names to keep an eye on. Daxton Hill, Michigan. He might be a first rounder. Jaquan Brisker, Penn State. I like him. Jalen Petrie, Baylor. Maybe a second round guy. If Brisker or Petrie is there in the second round, I like it. Maybe Lewis Seen, the Georgia safety, if he got to the second round. And at B Holder 27, to make this offense look better than last year, you need to draft blank. I'm short a left guard right now. And the thing that this team needs to do the most to get back on track offensively is block. You have to be able to block light boxes that aren't playing you. They're daring you to run the ball, and the Cowboys still couldn't the last couple months of the season. They're rushing with 4 guys against your 5 or 6, and they're still getting pressure quickly. Offense is going to be hard if that's what's going on. So if you could get a nice left guard in here, Kenyon Green, Texas A&M, Zion Johnson, Boston College, that helps. If you got Tyler Linderbaum, the Iowa center, and you plugged him in, kick Lyle Collins to left guard, Terrence Steele at right tackle, maybe run it that way, you got to be able to block. So that's why I think my number 1 is a player on the offensive line, but I also think it's coaching. The players last year, those 5 offensive linemen they ran out there, they weren't bad players. So how they put out bad tape, I don't know. But they got to fix it. It's the biggest thing. Leave in the comments what you want to hear about tomorrow and who you want in the draft. I need to know. Who would you pick in all these mock drafts? Hit me up. Let me know. And remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everyone. I love you. Bye.